different aspects of climate and global warming. And it's obvious human activities are causing global warming, but we can do something about it.
But Maestro, isn't it already a bit late to do anything?
Well, I read somewhere that whatever we do, greenhouse gases will stay in the atmosphere for at least 100 years.
Absolutely, but that's no reason to keep on producing twice as much as our Earth can absorb.
But if we act quickly, Maestro, how long will it take for things to stabilize again?
If we start now, right now, then probably 2 generations.
So how about just 2 generations?
Well, it's quite a few years, but we can't sort this out overnight, you know. It's a huge project. I mean, how long did it take to build the pyramids? Didn't it take generations to build those cathedrals the world is so proud of? All that was important, but not as much as our climate problems today.
I've heard there are some revolutionary new methods for collecting carbon dioxide, like compressing it and injecting it into areas from where oil or gas have been extracted.
Yes, but it still needs a lot of energy. It might work for larger producers of the gas, like concrete, steel, or electricity facilities. Let's see how that works.
You know, we can pump gases much deeper to 3,000 meters in the depth of the ocean. Billions of tons of gas can be stored there.
Yes, but let's hope the gas behaves itself and stays put for a few thousand years. Any more ideas?
I heard oyster shells absorb gas so we could farm oysters.
Absolutely. But the problem is, you'd need a whole mountain of them.
A scientist has suggested launching a flotilla of tens of thousands of little disks. They would act as mirrors, reflecting the sun's heat back into space and cooling the atmosphere.
The problem with this idea is that the launch would have to be made from the moon, but it's a fine plan.
There's another similar kind of idea whereby spraying drops of salt water would increase the reflectiveness of clouds.
And another scientist who wants to do the same with dust or sulfur in the atmosphere that would scatter the sun's heat in every direction.
These are all excellent ideas related to our discussion topic, to build barriers that block and keep out the rays of the sun.
It's true. When the Pinatubo volcano erupted 20 years ago, it darkened the sky and cooled the land for a while. Could we do this artificially, Maestro?
Yes, and it's up to the scientists to come up with non-polluting smoke.
I've also heard about a more important project, that of spraying water onto the ice caps, which freezes and so strengthens them.
Ah, that would be an excellent solution, don't you think? One of these suggestions to cool down the planet will be perfected sooner or later. Scientists are already working on it. But as we have already seen, we also have to significantly reduce our emission of greenhouse gases. So first of all, we need to identify the main polluters so we can come up with the possible solutions and actions that we can begin to undertake.
Before we talk about what we can do, we'd like to tell you about a problem, Maestro. China.
Right, well, what's the issue here then?
Well, after our research on a report on Dongtang, we traveled to Beijing. But what we saw wasn't the ideal ecological urban planning we'd heard about. They'll have to rehouse 300 or 400 million people moving to the cities and who have left their homeland, as it's been destroyed by new construction, dams, and so on. China has 20 of the 30 most polluted cities in the world. Maestro, you did say that global warming was a worldwide problem, and one country not cooperating could compromise everything, didn't you? The whole country is just one huge, non-stop polluting building site. Isn't it a danger for the whole world?
I think some people there are aware of these problems, so they need a model such as Dongtan.
But they don't seem to take ecology into account.
That's because it's all new to them. But they'll learn quickly. But that mustn't prevent each of us from doing what we can to help save the planet. So we're going to examine the main causes of global warming. Then we can inform people and put plans into action.
Information is key. I can't believe the number of people who don't even know what sustainable development is.
And even fewer know about the greenhouse effect and the global warming it causes.
Absolutely true. So we're going to have to explain and convince them to become part of our action plan.
Because decision makers often put their own interests first.
Right. So what do you think are the causes? Tell me.
Transport and traffic, of course.
Industry. That's certainly the biggest factor in causing pollution. And for global warming too, isn't it?
And deforestation. All those trees cut down all over the world that absorb carbon dioxide as they develop.
That's true, but we've already talked about that at length.
Let's not forget houses and buildings. They all use loads of energy, you know, and so that means they pollute.
And how come we don't talk anymore about the hole in the ozone layer, which protects us from the sun's dangerous radiation? Remember how worried we all were?
That's right. We used to talk about it, and then nothing.
International regulations were agreed that ban aerosols and other causes of the hole in the ozone layer. The hole's shrinking now. Oh, not that fast, but it is shrinking.
Agriculture and all its related activities produce nearly a quarter of all pollution.
That's right, and especially methane and nitrates.
Why complicate things? If there's too much gas, then just bury it and put a cork on top. It'll be fine underground.
Good idea. We talked about it earlier, but perhaps you were elsewhere.
Don't be stupid. Why do you want to bury it? Gas floats around, so we should just shoot it up into the air, and that's it. Problem solved.
Oh, great idea. That's it. Problem solved. Now there's just a small matter of how you're gonna do it. We keep both. One layer below, the other on top.
And us between the two. Great idea, don't you think?
Now, children, be serious, please. Let's continue. Agriculture. What are your solutions? Who wants to start?
Ban the use of pesticides.
Limit fuel use for farmers.
Impose a tax on those who pollute.
Incentives to encourage organic farming.
Right. Control rodents with natural products. Yeah.
Only buy organic foods.
Very good, yes, very good.
We need to convince farmers it's no longer in their interest to produce a lot quickly. Now they should grow less, but well.
Just look, my new watering equipment. There's no spray anymore. It uses drip feeds. Not bad, huh? And my new manure pit. Now it doesn't discharge into the river. Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, it's all good. You're saving a lot of water and polluting less. That's great.
It's just that
What?
you should be polluting even less.
What? Huh?
You see, with your energy-guzzling machinery and methane-emitting cattle, industrial farmers like you pollute a lot. And it's warming up the planet.
So now the cattle are polluting too? What can I do about that?
Well, pesticides actually poison the crops, the animals, and the people who eat them. You have to go back to natural methods. Your fields will be all the healthier for it.
And all of your machines, you need to use them less. And in a different way. Use your farm waste to make fuel. You have plenty.
You see, with all this pollution that our Earth can't absorb anymore, the planet is heating up. And we must do something. That includes you, and it's in your interest.
All I've done and you want more, huh? And what do you mean in my interest? Everyone should look after themselves.
Global warming is melting the glaciers. which in turn fill the river, and so with no glaciers, no water. Just look, no more water at all, just a drought.
It's true about the water. There's not much more left.
And have you also noticed there are fewer and fewer bees?
Well, yeah, what's your point?
Beekeeping friends have told me that billions of them have died worldwide. Poisoned by all the pesticides they collect along with the pollen.
Not here, not anymore.
Afraid so. A few years ago, all these pesticides were banned, and the bees came back. Then the ban was lifted, and the bee population fell again. Don't worry, Unc. We can live without bees.
Is that what you think, Buster? Most crops need to be pollinated to germinate. With fewer bees, there'll be less pollination. So less fruit, fewer vegetables, and so less income for you.
Huh? Are you sure about that?
Look at the newspaper. The death of bees puts our planet in danger.
My goodness. That's unbelievable. You may be right. I'll see what I can do. Now let's turn to the problem of homes. We've already talked about homes a lot, and I think you're very familiar with the subject. So get moving. Enough talk. It's time for action.
Double or even triple glazed windows. There you are. That's too hot. And wrong bulbs.
That's not full enough.
Look at one of the major reasons for global warming, pollution from industries. What solutions do you suggest?
A tax on polluters and the revenue for research.
Make goods that are more durable and less disposable. Have them rent more goods and not sell products already out of date almost as soon as they leave the factory gate, and provide a repair service.
Like for computers, photocopiers, cell phones.
What about cars? They need more cars that are electric. As for companies, they should organize their conferences near home.
Great! You have really good arguments. Now it's up to you to persuade other people. One thing I can tell you, you'll find resistance. Some of the people with power in their hands won't let go easily.
lot of chemical byproducts from your factories are polluting our air, soil, and plants. We've come to ask you to do something about it.
These toxins will end up in the food chain and cause illness.
What's more, they're contributing really heavily to overall global warming.
Scientists don't agree at all about what's causing global warming.
Why should we assume responsibility for global warming? Climate change is a natural cycle that the Earth has continually experienced throughout its history.
Oh, yeah? The latest ice core samples show that we currently have a higher concentration of greenhouse gas than at any time in the last 600,000 years. That's no cycle.
That's what you say, but we haven't seen any serious effects of this so far.
So global warming, and then more extreme natural disasters and the melting of glaciers and the polar ice caps aren't serious effects?
If we take too long in reacting, then it will be too late.
And it'll be your children who will suffer the effects. Is that what you want?
Who do you think you are talking to us like this?
We are the guardians of the planet that you're gonna leave to your children.
Which just leaves us with transportation, which uses a significant amount of the world's energy and causes pollution. What are your suggestions? Well,
It's the same for industry. We have to tax the fuel and use the money for research. People will only really reduce their fuel usage once it's too expensive.
We need to improve the carbon credit system.
oh, I don't think that's the answer, because the quantity of gas emitted will stay the same, but only those with a lot of money will actually be emitting it.
Ban trucks in city centers. You know what, Maestro? Lots of cities have already done that because trucks produce a lot of pollution and snarl up the traffic.
And ban garbage trucks in the street at rush hour, as emptying the trash cans in narrow streets makes cars queue up behind them. Yeah, but that's a Parisian speciality.
The authorities have to build lightweight cars which hardly consume, or use alternative energy, or build electric cars.
Yeah, electric cars are available at street corners with a card you buy, like for parking.
Well, why not? It's already being done for bikes.
And why not use rollerblades?
Scooters are good as well, yeah?
We have to make people understand that they can't just take a plane wherever they want. It causes too much pollution.
Yeah, and we should also ban those terrible ads in magazines showing off gas-guzzling SUVs placed between two articles condemning pollution. I read somewhere our processed foods travel huge distances. For example, it takes 59 different transport operations to turn Italian tomatoes into catsup. We should transport goods by train or boat, not by truck or plane. These latter modes of transport should belong to the past. There should be more local stores, so we don't always have to drive to the shopping malls.
And when there's only one person in the car for the trip, don't you think that...
You are all right. So now you have to go and persuade the users. But remember, it won't be any use if you only do it in one place. Your fellow club members worldwide will have to help. So spread the word.
Morning, sir. We're from the Guardians of the Planet Club. Do you mind if I ask you why you're on your own in your car, sir?
To get from my house to the office, there aren't many other ways of doing so, young lady.
But have you ever thought, sir, about leaving your car, which does cost you money and does pollute, at a train or bus station? Buses are much faster, look. Even bicycles do 18 kilometers an hour in town, and cars only 14.
I don't really see myself on a bike.
Then get a small car. Or you could even share with people from the office.
I'll think about it, I promise.
Well, I'm not about to change my habits of an age, young man.
Very well, madam. But then why not car share with a friend or neighbor? Try to use hybrid energy. You're polluting too much, ma'am. You're gonna leave a poisoned, uninhabitable Earth to your children and grandchildren. Is that really what you want?
Frage stellen? Buenos días, señor. ¿Podemos hacerle algunas preguntas? Buongiorno. Posso farle qualche domanda?
Graag worden we een paar vragen stellen, alsjeblieft.
So, children, what do you think of the experience?
Not easy. People don't seem to believe that our planet's in such a serious mess.
How can we make them understand that we absolutely have to stop producing so much more polluting gas than the Earth can absorb? That these gases remain there, heating up the planet and us with it?
We often got the impression we were annoying people, that they weren't pleased to hear the truth.
Nobody likes the idea of having to halve their energy consumption and think about pollution. Not individuals, not farmers, and not corporations. No one. But neither does anyone have the right to say, go talk to someone, because we're all concerned.
All governments need to implement an information campaign on global warming via TV, radio, press, and internet that demonstrates a clear political will.
Hundreds of millions of years were needed to form our Earth and its atmosphere, making them just right for life. So are we humans going to destroy all that in just 2 centuries? No, we don't have the right to let that happen. We don't have a backup Earth, so we have to really look after this one.